What if I told you that the single biggest secret to actually making money in trading is to stop trying to make money? Yeah, I know, it sounds completely backward, right? But the material we're looking at today makes a seriously compelling case that this one mental shift is the difference between blowing up and actually sticking around for the long haul. So let's get into it.
And this is it. This is the quote that really kicks the whole thing off. I mastered trading when I stopped trying to make money. It's a complete paradox, isn't it? I mean, the entire point is to make a profit. So how could ignoring that possibly be the key? It just goes against every single instinct a trader has.
So what's the deal here? Is it just some clever mind game, or is this the actual secret to longevity in the markets? Well, according to our source, this isn't just a catchy phrase. It's everything. Let's really break down why this works. All right, so our first big idea is what the source calls the money paradox, and it starts with a simple but really powerful claim. Almost every single trading mistake you could possibly make, it all comes from being way too focused on the money.
Yeah, this slide right here really just nails the two different mindsets. On one side, you've got the outcome focus, which, let's be honest, is where most people start. Your whole world is just chasing that P&L. But then you look at the other side, the professional's process focus. Here, the goal isn't to make money. The goal is just to follow your rules perfectly. And the money? Well, that's just the byproduct. It's what happens when you do your job right.
So how do you actually make that shift? Well, you've got to develop what's called a longevity mindset. It's all about zooming out. A losing day, or hey, even a losing week, it stops being this huge emotional catastrophe. It just becomes a data point. The real game is played over months and years, and that's the only scoreboard that actually matters in the end.
And really, it all boils down to this little mantra: arrive, don't strive. Just think about that for a second. You're not showing up to the market desperately trying to rip money out of it. You're just arriving. You're there to do a job. You see if the market gives you a setup that fits your plan. If it does, great, you execute. If not, you wait. No forcing it, no chasing, no desperation.
Okay, so mindset is the foundation, right? But you can't go into battle without armor. And that's our second section here, building that armor out of two really critical things: a real, defined edge and a set of rules that you just never, ever break. And this is where we have to get brutally honest with ourselves. Do you actually have an edge? And I don't mean a gut feeling or that you had a good week. I mean a statistically proven, repeatable advantage that you can trust day in and day out. Our source puts it pretty bluntly. If you can't define your edge in one simple sentence, you probably don't have one. So here's the game plan, the three-step process for building that armor. Step 1, you gotta define that hedge. Step 2, build your rules. And this is so important because making money can sometimes feel easy. Keeping it is the hard part. Your rules are what protect you from yourself. And that leads right into step 3, execute the plan. That's it. Your new daily goal isn't profit, it's perfect execution. But hey, let's be real for a minute. This doesn't happen over a weekend seminar. To build that kind of unshakable trust in your system, you need one thing above all else: screen time. There's just no substitute for it. You have to see how your edge holds up when the market is flying, when it's crashing, and when it's just chopping around doing nothing. That's the only way you truly learn about your system, and more importantly, about yourself.
And, this brings us to what might be the hardest part of this whole journey. You can have the perfect mindset and the perfect set of rules, but if you, the person sitting in the chair, don't evolve, well then you're just going to keep repeating the same mistakes, running into the same walls over and over again.
The source uses this really powerful phrase: you must die to your old self. What it's saying is, the version of you that exists today, the one who revenge trades, gets emotional, needs to be right all the time, that person isn't capable of long-term success. That part of you literally has to go so that a new, better trader can take its place. And you can see that whole transformation right here. The old self chases losses, trying to win it back. The new self just accepts them as a totally normal cost of doing business. The old self is running on impulse and FOMO. The new self is driven only by the rules. It's a huge shift, from being a reactive gambler to a methodical professional. So how do you actually make that change happen? You have to change how you treat your mistakes. Instead of beating yourself up, you need to become like a coach reviewing the game tape. Detach yourself. Ask, okay, what rule did I break? What's the one thing I need to correct for next time? Because every single error isn't a failure. It's just tuition you're paying for your trading education.
This right here, this becomes your new scorecard. Forget about the P&L. At the end of every single day, the only question that matters is, did I do what I was supposed to do today? I mean, think about that. If you followed your plan perfectly and you still lost money, that was a successful day. That's a win. You're building the habits that lead to a long career.
And that brings us to the final goal of all this. It's not about a number in your bank account. It's about building something way more powerful, something that no one can ever take from you, an unshakable inner scorecard.
I absolutely love how simple this is. Where does real, lasting confidence actually come from? It's not from a lucky winning streak. It comes from one place and one place only, consistently doing what you said you would do. Every time you follow your rules, especially when it's hard, you're laying another brick in a wall of self-respect. And that's the foundation of true conviction.
And this is so important, especially today with social media everywhere. We're constantly tempted to compare our messy, private Step 4 with somebody else's perfectly polished, public Step 38 highlight reel. You have to shut all that noise out. Their journey is not your journey. The only person you should be measuring yourself against is who you were yesterday.
So, let's just end with the one question that really sums this all up. What are you really building here? Are you just building a P&L, a number that goes up and down and drives you crazy? Or are you building a trader, a disciplined, resilient professional who can do this for a lifetime? Because how you answer that question, well, that changes everything.